You were not born with fear. You were not born with lack. You were not born with shame or guilt or the belief that abundance belongs to someone else. Those were lessons handed to you by a world still trying to remember its own worth. And now, this is your time to unlearn, to remember, to rewire your mind for wealth and peace. Because peace is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of truth, and wealth is not the chase for gold. It is the alignment of your inner world with the infinite supply that already exists. You do not need to be fixed, you only need to reconnect. To come back to yourself, to the sacred center where your thoughts become power, where your words form reality, and where belief builds the foundation of everything. The world you live in is a mirror. Not a mirror of your face, but a mirror of your thoughts. Every word you speak becomes a command. Every belief you repeat becomes architecture. And every story you carry becomes your prison or your freedom. So the question is never will I succeed. The real question is, what am I telling myself about success? Because your mind is always listening. And what you say it builds, what you affirm it becomes. Louise Hay taught us that every thought we think is creating our future. And right now, in this moment, you hold the pen. You write the story, you shape the life, and it begins not with action, but with attention. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And energy is the raw material of all wealth, all joy, all creation. You want peace. Start with your inner dialogue. You want wealth. Start with your thoughts about money. Because you cannot plant poison and expect fruit. You cannot curse yourself in silence and expect blessings in public. You must, from this moment forward, become intentional with your words. You must speak like someone who is building. You must think like someone who is already worthy. You must walk like someone who remembers where they came from, a divine mind in human form. And when you do, the old programming starts to shatter. That voice that said money is hard to come by, you silence it. That whisper that told you you're not enough, you expose it. That generational belief that suffering equals success. You heal it, you replace it with new words. New thoughts, new truth. I am deserving, I am supported. I am a magnet for abundance. And not because you want to sound positive, but because you choose to live aligned with truth. Because that's what peace is, living without contradiction, and that's what wealth is. The overflow of inner harmony, but don't mistake harmony for passivity. This is not about sitting still and hoping. This is not about waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. This is about co-creating, standing boldly with the universe as your partner. Because the moment you believe you are worthy, the world rearranges. Because belief is not just spiritual, it's biological. Your brain rewires to follow what you expect. Your nervous system shifts to match your inner command. Your life responds in kind. And so we begin with belief, the seed, but we must water it with discipline. Because a thought without consistency is just a wish. And a belief without repetition is just noise. Every day you must return to the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. I believe in you. I choose abundance. I choose peace, and when the world pushes back, you don't crumble, you recenter, you breathe, you realign. Because storms don't shake the rooted, and distractions don't sway the anchored. You're no longer looking for peace in other people's approval. You're no longer chasing wealth through burnout and self-abandonment. You are building from the inside out. This is how you rise. This is how you rewire, not through force, but through faith. Not through hustle, but through harmony. Not through fear, but through knowing. Everything changes when you decide that you are the source, not your job, not your bank account, not your partner, your parents, your education, you. You are the source of wealth because wealth is first a vibration. And that vibration begins with acceptance. You see, most people try to create from a place of resistance. They say, I want money, but what they really mean is, I don't have enough and I'm afraid I never will. They say, I want peace, but what they really mean is, I can't rest until everything around me is perfect. That energy is not creation, that is contraction. That is lack dressed up as ambition, that is fear wearing the mask of productivity, and it will never lead to lasting wealth, never lead to real peace. But when you begin with acceptance, you anchor yourself in power, you stop fighting what is, and instead begin guiding what becomes. You say, I bless where I am. And I choose where I go, I honor my past. And I rise from it, not because of it. That shift is spiritual alchemy. It's how lead turns into gold. It's how wounds turn into wisdom. Louise Hay said, I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking, then problems fix themselves. Because your outer world is just the echo of your inner language. It's not the bank account that needs healing, it's the belief beneath it. It's not the chaos that needs control, it's the thoughts that need peace. So we clear, we cleanse, not through effort, but through awareness. Watch your thoughts, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Catch yourself when you say, I can't. Pause when you whisper, I'm not ready. And instead replace it with power, I choose to learn. I am becoming, I am safe to grow. Every thought, every word, every inner dialogue is either a key or a cage. Either it frees you or it keeps you small. So now you choose keys, you choose thoughts that build, not break, that liberate, not limit, that energize, not exhaust. And once your inner world shifts, your outer world cannot help but follow. Not because magic, but because alignment. That is the moment the right people show up. That is when opportunities start flowing. That is when doors open not by force, but by frequency. Because wealth is not about chasing, it's about matching. It's not about earning more, it's about becoming more. Become someone who thinks like wealth, who acts like peace, who speaks like someone who remembers their divine power. And when doubt rises, because it will, you don't panic. You respond with truth. You say, I am not my past. I am not my parents' fears. I am not the voices that tried to shrink me. I am the thinker of my thoughts, the writer of my script, the master of my mind. And from that place, you build, not on sand, but on stone, on values, on vision, on truth. You stop asking, what if I fail? And you begin asking, what if I fly? You stop looking at the clock, racing against time, and start aligning with the right time and divine time. The time where all things come into form when your frequency is ready. And now your frequency is rising, your words are healing, your mind is evolving because you've made the decision to become the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth and peace. Not through desperation, but through declaration, not through force, but through flow, and this is where vision steps in. Because you cannot build what you cannot see, and your life will only expand to the edge of your vision. So dream in vivid color. Dream like a child before they were told what was impossible. Visualize a life where your cup runs over not just with money, but with meaning. Not just with comfort, but with clarity. Not just with possessions, but with presence. This is the new wealth. Not the mansion filled with noise, but the heart filled with stillness. Not the car that proves your value, but the mind that knows it without question. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the blueprint and the breakthrough. We've built the foundation with belief, with clarity, with vision. But no structure rises without discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's devotion. It's choosing to show up for yourself even when the world tells you not to. It's the quiet repetition of alignment, moment by moment, choice by choice. Louise Hay didn't just preach self-love, she practiced it. Every morning, she looked in the mirror and declared, I love you, I really love you. Not because it felt natural, but because it was necessary. Because your subconscious doesn't follow what you want. It follows what you repeat, so you wake up, and you choose your thoughts like sacred tools. You don't reach for your phone, you reach for truth. You don't scroll through distraction, you root in intention. You set the tone before the world sets it for you. This is the discipline of peace. This is the structure of wealth. Because abundance doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who prepare. You prepare by cleaning the inner house, by speaking words that lift, by surrounding yourself with energy that aligns. You make space in your schedule, in your mind, in your home, for wealth to move freely, for peace to live undisturbed. And as you walk this path, you learn to act not from fear, but from faith. There will be days when fear knocks on your door. It'll wear the face of doubt, of failure, of what if. Let it knock, but don't let it in, because your home, your mind is now a temple. A temple of worthiness, of clarity, of courage. Take action, not massive, chaotic action, but aligned action. One small step that says, I believe in this vision. I trust what's unfolding. I don't need all the answers, I only need the next move. Every great builder started with a sketch, every empire began with one brick. You don't need the whole map, just the direction. You don't need the perfect plan, just the willingness to begin. Because peace isn't something you find at the end of the journey, it's how you walk it. It's how you hold yourself through uncertainty. It's the breath you take before you speak, the pause before you react. The knowing that you are not behind, you are in divine timing. You are exactly where your soul placed you, not to be punished, but to be prepared. Every setback, training, every delay. Protection, every rejection. Redirection, when you live from that truth. You stop rushing, you stop forcing. You stop begging life to change, and instead, you rise to meet it. Because peace is not passive, it's powerful. And wealth is not reserved for the chosen, it's available to the ready. Are you ready? Then speak like it, walk like it, create like it. Move like the life you want is already yours, because in the realm of thought, it is. And now we touch the heart of it all, gratitude, not the cliche kind. Not the surface thank you that hides resentment, but the deep, cellular, soul-level gratitude that says, even this is a gift, even the failures, even the silence, even the lessons wrapped in pain. Because when you're truly grateful, you unlock the kingdom, you open the floodgates. You shift from needing to having, from chasing to receiving, from lack to overflow. You begin to see money as energy, love as a current, time as a teacher. You stop demanding more and start seeing more of what's already here, and the irony is, the moment you stop needing wealth to feel whole, it finds you. Because you no longer repel it with desperation. You magnetize it with alignment. You walk through life with open hands, not clenched fists. You give without fear. You receive without guilt. You celebrate others because you know their success never threatens yours. That's peace. That's real wealth. And now, it's in you, not in your future. Not in your someday now.